What's up, my beautiful fashionistas? Welcome back to Yvonne Winifred UG. So, from this dress or such a dress, I was inspired to make today's video, and it's going to be wonderful. Just prepare yourself if this is your first time here. In order to not be missing out on the content, just subscribe. So I have my pieces. I'm using the Ankara also, and I have my back and front. As you see, the front is a little bit larger than the back, and we are going to start with the back piece so that we use it to cut out the front piece. This is a wrap dress, and starting off on top here, I'm just going to leave some allowance and then mark our starting line, which you can also call the shoulder line. So remember, this is also on fold. Even the front will be on fold, and it is the back piece. So my top length is 16.5 inches for the waistline, but I also added joining allowance to the skirt part of this dress. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with is 8 inches, sewing allowance inclusive. So from there I go down by 1 inch, and I come back here and I mark my neck width of 3 inches, and from the 3 inches I'm just going to connect to the 1 inch for the shoulder slant, like that. So coming back here where the shoulder stopped, I'm going down straight by 8 inches, which is the armhole opening, or the armhole measurement divided by 2, and I have to make sure that it is parallel to the shoulder line. So I'm going to connect those 2 points, that is the armhole opening, and also get its midpoint so that I carve out the armhole curve, and this is for the back. So this is what I do. I carve it out like this, and we move on. So coming back at the neckline here, I'm going to go down by 1 inch for the back neckline. That is the neckline depth, and then I'm using a curved neckline like that. So from there, just add half an inch for the joining allowance at the shoulder, like that, and connect it back into the allowance that we left at the neckline. So that is it. And now guys, I can just divide the bust measurement by 4 plus the sewing allowance and input it at along the chest line there where the armhole line stopped there. And also I'm just going to divide the waist measurement, which is 32 inches, dividing it by 4. I add 1 inch for sewing allowance and another inch for the dart placement, and then I just connect those 2 points like that. So that is simply for the back. So now we have to place our dart. The bust span that I'm working with is 8 inches, dividing it by 2, I get 4 plus half inch for the dart. So make sure you notch that place so that you don't forget where your dart is. So that is simply the back piece. I'm just going to cut it out and use it to cut the front piece. So it looks like this. Beautiful. So let's move on. So bringing back my front piece that is already cut out, it is also on folded into 2 like this. I'm just going to place the back piece on top so that I cut the rest of the needed stuff. So from the sides it is, aligning properly, and I have to make sure that placement is in place. And now this is the center back, remember. So I'm just going to mark it down where I mark there is also the center front. So for the wrap, to get our wrap, the width I'll be using the same as the back width. So this excess that I added is where we're going to place our piece that we need for the wrap, and with that I use the bust span, which is 8 inches. Dividing it by 2, I have my 4, but I need half an inch also for turning that wrap part with the facing or with whatever I'll be using. So from down from the waistline, I'm going to go up by about 1.5 inches, but since we have half an inch at the waistline for joining it to the bottom piece or the skirt, I considered 2 inches. So from that 2 inches, I'm just going to go straight to where the back width stopped, the neckline width. So I'm opening it up and then connect those 2 points to form my front piece, simply like that. So that is how we make a wrap top. That is if you want it simply like that, but sometimes you can consider the entire measurement of your you can consider the entire measurement of your waistline unfold, that is. So at this point I was marking the front armhole depth, and after marking it I just cut out my pieces as you see. So this is my back and my front pieces are now 2 like this, and they will be on top like this, overlapping each other like that. So that is the overlapping. So that is the neckline depth for the front. So now, as I told you, now I'm marking the front armhole depth. It is a little bit deeper inside than the back. So now for the skirt piece, guys, it is a half circle. I have one fold, one single triangular fold. I'm not doing as usual like this where we fold into 2, then you fold your triangle. No, I'm not doing this, because when you do that you get the entire skirt piece. But now I want to cut my back piece separate and the front piece also separate. So guys, remember I'm working with a waistline of 32 inches. So I have 32 inches, dividing it by 3.14, which is a constant for half circle, I get about 10.1, and that 10.1 I just added 1 inch for the allowances. So guys, from the tip here, you see it is 1 fold. I'm only cutting the back, but from the tip here I'm just going to mark my 10.1 or 11. Let me just consider the entire 11.1 since I have allowances, and I'll be connecting the points like this, just the way we do the half circle, and then connect the points, and that is going to be the waistline. So before cutting, guys, just cross check your measurement and see whether it is, now it is, I have 8.5 times 2, I get 17, which is for the back. So this is my back. After taking in the dart, it will be fitting properly. That is it. So you have to consider your joining allowance to the top and also the side allowances. So from there, from the waistline, guys, now I'm just going to take on the full length. I was using 38 inches, so I went on with 38 inches, but I only considered the 38 inches for the middle piece. You know how Ankara can be, it is not all that long, but if you're using any other material or fabric, you can take on your 38 inches. So I considered 38 inches, but at the side, guys, I just considered where the Ankara stopped. But if you want to consider the entire 38, you increase your piece like that. As you see, I have 2 markings here, it stopped there, and that is what I considered. But then if you want your 38 inches everywhere, you consider the marking where the chalk stopped, and then you have to add another piece to this other piece that is short. So now guys, I've also folded another piece of the fabric. By the way, you have to make sure you have about your 8 yards. It won't go all, but you have to have about 5 yards for such a dress. So I've placed my back piece on top of this other folded piece of fabric, and I've left an excess there because we have the wrap part that has to be added onto the front pieces. I've left about other 5 inches all down up to the hemline. So this is what I have. My back piece is folded and it is on top of the other, again, folded front pieces where we're going to cut the front pieces. So I've increased from the waistline. I've just added 4.5 inches, which we have, guys, for the wrap, and I also added another 1 inch. So now I have 5.5. So I went on marking 5.5 all the way up to the hemline, as you see, and I'm just going to cut that out. And this is what I got after. So these are my front pieces, and I have 2 skirt front pieces, and they will be joined onto the top pieces like that. After taking in the dots, they will be matching correctly, and I'll just be joining my top piece to the skirt pieces. So that is what I got. If you have any questions, please ask in the comment section. So guys, now after taking in the dots as a sewing machine, this is what I have. The back dart stops 1 inch above the bust line, and the front dart also stops 1 inch below the bust line. So I joined the 2 along the shoulder, and this is what I have. So guys, for the back, we have to shape it a little more so that we don't have a bulge. So I'm just going to fold it into 2. I go at the center back, I mark 1/2 inch, and then connect into the sides just as you see me doing, and then cut that out. By doing this, you'll not have a bulge at the back. So also for the sleeve, I'm folding it into 2. I have a piece here which is 9 inches. The sleeve will be 7 inches. After all this sewing, I'm marking the cap's height of about 4 inches. About 4 inches, and I'm going to draw a diagonal line like this. So after the diagonal line, I get the midpoint of this diagonal line. And guys, by the way, the width of this piece is 8 inches, which is the armhole measurement plus the sewing allowance. So at the midpoint, I move up by 1/2 inch and then connect the back curve, and then from the mid I also connect the front curve just as you saw me. So you have to cross check also to make sure you have the correct measurements. And then the sleeve opening, I considered about 8 inches, and this is what I did. Make sure you add seam allowances. So I cut out the back curve first and also the front curve later. So one side is going to be for the back, the other deeper side will be for the front. As you saw, even the curves were not the same, so I'll be attaching it there, starting from the middle like this and like that. That will be all with the sleeves. So guys, for the pocket pieces, here's what we have. I have 4 pieces that are 7.5 inches by 10 inches. So after attaching the sleeves, this is what we have. Remember, I already joined my top pieces to the skirt pieces. As you see, this is the back and this is the front. I've already attached the sleeve, you see, and now I've just pinned the pocket pieces. So what I did is I pinned them right sides facing each other like this. It is the 7 inches So I measured 3 inches from the waistline, and I pinned my pocket pieces like that on the sides of these of the skirt pieces. That is one at the back, one at the front, and also the same at the other side. So I'll just be sewing from the like that, going down, starting from the sleeve. So guys, this is what I have so far. So good. Pocket done. So after the pocket, I also have an excess that I told you about that I'll be using to finish up my skirt pieces at the center front there. And also guys, that is what I have so far. So guys, I'm just going to fold my front piece into 2 like this, so that I take the entire measurement of where my collar is going to be. Remember, the collar starts from the unfold, it will start from the center back like that and up to where the wrap part stopped, where the 2 inches that we marked stopped. That is what I have. That entire measurement was about 42 inches unfolded, and this is what I got as the collar piece. It is 3 inches on fold 3 inches, and it is about 42 inches long. So I cut it on bias guys, not straight, but it was on bias in a diagonal way. So folding it into 2 like this, I just want to shape it a little bit so that it looks nicer. So from this open side, I went down by 1 inch and then shaped it like that, and I'm just going to cut it out towards the middle closed opening. So this is what I have as the collar. And then for the straps or the belt, this is what I got. It is also 4 inches, and it is a long piece that is about the entire waist measurement times 2.5. So for it, I'll just fold it into 2 like this, and I'll join it by 1/2 inch, and after I'll just flip it to the right side, and then I'll divide it into 2. I need 2 belts or straps or the tie ropes. So that is it. So this is how I'm going to join my collar to the top piece. So I'm going to start from along the waistline, near the waistline, from the 2 inches. I'll take my folded collar onto the wrong side of this top piece. You see, it is the wrong side, and then I'll join by 1/2 inch all round towards the back and straight into the front, or back to the front. So that will be like that. So after the joining or after the sewing, I'll just flip it to the right side like this. That is how the collar will look beautifully, like that. So now this is what we have. This is the collar. I told you it looks so beautiful, as you see guys. This is it. So I've also shaped the straps, all the ropes, the belts, and I've attached one at the piece that is going to be inside, the wrap piece or part that will be inside, and I'll leave about an opening of about 1 inch where this belt will be passing to the right side of this dress. And I also attached the other part of the belt here where the 2 inches stopped. So I've also double folded this part that will be outside and finished it neatly, and I'm just going to double fold along the hemline and finish the entire dress. So this is what I got after everything. These are the belts at the back. The collar looks like this at the back, the sleeves, and then that is how the back came about. So I think you're seeing at the side it is a little bit shorter, but it looks beautiful no matter what. So this is the 1-inch opening, just kind of a slit opening where the belt is supposed to pass. And guys, that is simply all about this wrap dress. If you have any questions, kindly go on in the comment section. And that is it for today. The dress is beautiful. Just go on and make yours. That is the collar, and that is it for today.